it gets better.
Yeah.
Just keep going. That would be like my motto.
Hey everyone, I'm Laura.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is Souls in Bloom, where Kristen and I have open, candid conversations in hopes of inspiring your personal growth and ours as well. Mm-hmm. And today, Kristen actually messaged me earlier this week just to suggest a topic for tonight's conversation. And it's about kind of reflecting on our lives. And so I wanted to hand it over to Kristen and have her more elaborate on what she was thinking, since, this is all your idea and I love it. I think it's so valuable to reflect on like things we've been through recently and changes and things like that. So let me hand it over to you and kind of tell everybody what you're thinking and your inspiration for this topic. And
so okay, it's basically kind of like a mirror talk. It is reflecting on what happened. My idea at first was in the past year, but Laura and I discussed that maybe we should do like 5 years, so it's like a little bit more information, a little bit more learning and stuff like that. So kind of like a mirror talk. If you were looking into the mirror at yourself 5 years ago, what would you tell yourself about you now 5 years later? Things that you've been through, things that you've learned. What would you say, such as like, hey, this is going to happen, so don't give up, keep going, like something like that. And so we kind of chose different aspects of life to kind of tell a story and kind of say like, hey, 5 years ago, you don't worry about this because this happened type of thing. So we chose, health and wellness, business or hobbies or something related with like a love for something that may also make money as well. And then like a personal life, friends, family type of thing. So we came up with the 3 aspects of life that we are going to discuss, different things that have happened over the past 5 years that we would tell ourselves 5 years ago, like a little bit of advice or a little bit of, hey, I learned this, right?
Yeah.
Close it up
pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, where do you want to start then? Which category here should we?
I have wellness first, so let's just start with that. Health and wellness.
Okay.
And how about you kick us off with that then?
Oh, you want me to? Okay. Well, I mean, so this is going to sound so like kind of stupid, maybe even to discuss, but one of the biggest changes that I've had in the past 5 years, well, less than that, it's actually coming up on 3 years, was not dyeing my hair anymore. And it sounds like really insignificant. You're like, great, she stopped dyeing her hair. That's wonderful. But let me tell you, that has been such like a drastic, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like I didn't just stop dyeing my hair and then that's done. It had such a domino effect in my life that I did not see coming at all. And for starters, it was like sorry, didn't mean to hit my mic. When I very first decided that I was going to stop, it was like almost this relief, and it's hard for me to describe, but it felt almost like a FU to like everybody around me, because you dye your hair kind of to placate other people. I'm not saying people don't do it for themselves too, because they think they look better that way or whatever the case may be. But personally, it felt more like pressure to do it because I didn't want to be judged for having gray hair. And so that was my driving force behind keeping that upkeep. And so once I stopped, it was like, I don't know. This is kind of my common theme through these 5 years, is like caring a lot less about what other people think about me.
Yes.
And the hair dyeing was definitely part of that. And then the other things that it kind of taught me was about how things are going to continue on whether you put effort into something or not. So in other words, like time is passing anyway. And so I'm sitting here just waiting for my hair to grow out to see what it looks like, to see if I regret it or not, or like see what happens with that. But I don't know. It's so hard to like describe because it's just hair and it feels so silly, like making all these things connected to it. But it really like opened my eyes to the passing of time and like the way things are going to progress anyway. I'm just sitting here growing out grays, which is like, I don't know, silly. I don't keep coming back to saying it's silly because it feels silly, but it's like, wow, 3 years have passed since I decided to stop dyeing it. It'll be 3 years in September. And it's like, seems really insignificant, but when you go back and think of all the things that have happened in that amount of time, how it's been 3 years already and it doesn't even feel like that long, how kind of like empowered that something like that can make you feel, even though it seems insignificant.
Yeah.
And what it did was it kind of gave me this perspective of going for things and just like committing time to it instead of a goal, because I didn't really know what my goal was with not dyeing it anymore. It was just like, well, let's just grow it. And like it became a time period measurement. And so that kind of trickled into another wellness thing for me, which is my weight loss efforts. And so I started kicking that off last year before I got pregnant. And then when I got pregnant, everything kind of went on hold. But now over the past, I don't know, a little over a month now, maybe a month and a half, I've been back on this health journey. And the hair experience has kind of given me, I don't know, this like totally different perspective on weight loss and health this go around that I've never had before. Because previously it's always been like, okay, I really want to lose like, 30 pounds or whatever by this time period. Like I'd like to lose this by the time I go to that wedding and see all these friends I haven't seen in a while. But it's like with this whole perception of time is just passing anyway, you might as well like put the effort in for a period of time versus like these set goals that you're going to be heartbroken if you don't make it by that, and it crushes you. And then you're like, why am I doing this anyway? Like that has nothing to do with it. Now I'm like, okay, if I truly devote myself to like better eating and trying to like walk more or whatever for a year straight, where will I be in a year? And so that it's like totally given me a mind, like complete shift of my mindset where I'm watching my scale now and it doesn't even bother me that it goes up and down, because I'm not focused on, I need to lose this weight by next year. It's like, well, let's just see where we are. I know my habits are good. I know what I'm doing is good for my body. So like, let's just see what happens if I do it for a year. Going back to the hair dye thing too. So another reason I stopped doing that was because of the chemicals in hair dye. There's like a lot. If you ever research it, it's a little frightening. And I'm not trying to like scare anybody about dyeing your hair, but I do always advocate for people to do their own research on whatever. And when I did research on it, I was like, this is probably something I shouldn't be doing anymore. And, a lot of people will say, well, there's chemicals. You can't avoid chemicals. It's in your food. It's in the air or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I think something else that this has taught me is like abandoning that all or nothing attitude, because it's like, okay, yeah, I can't clean up, like I can't avoid these like negative things in my food or whatever all across the board, but I can limit how much I'm exposed to at a time. And over time I can get rid of more and more in my diet or in my lifestyle, in my makeup, in my whatever. And so like it's kind of cool. And that again is also translating to the health stuff. Like, okay, in the past maybe you have a bad day where you're like, oh man, I ate way too much cake at that party. Screw it, I might as well just eat whatever I want now. And it's like this all or nothing thing. It's like, no, not just because you messed up a little bit here or like are doing something negative here that you can't make those little changes as you go, or like make a little change today and it's okay if like you backpedal tomorrow, but just like keep going with it. It's not we're either doing it or we're not, because that is unrealistic to set forth your life into a momentum of change. Like you can't just do all or nothing, or you're gonna derail that train real fast. So yeah, so if I was talking to myself in the past, I would tell Laura 5 years ago that like give up the all or nothing attitude and like just give it your best and truly, and be honest with yourself too about like if you are putting in that effort. And then if you are, then don't worry about it. You are doing your best, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Keep going, and don't quit because you had a bad day or you screwed up for that month or whatever. Just like jump back on that train and keep on trucking down, because good things will come. You just have to be patient, and that's okay because time is passing anyway. What else are you doing with your time?
It's true. And I bet you, since you stopped dyeing your hair 3 years ago, your 5 years ago self would have probably never thought that you would stop dyeing your hair.
Oh, so not a chance.
You can be like, hey, 5 years ago, Laura, you're going to stop dyeing your hair and you're going to stop caring what people think about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I probably would be very surprised to learn that about myself, because I've been dyeing my hair since high school, and it's been every color. It's been bleached. It's been bleach blonde at the top and black underneath, like every funky color you can think of. It's been all of it. So the fact that it's just whatever it is now, it's been that way for years, pretty wild. So yeah, totally. It'd be very shocking.
a lot of what you said, I think, has a lot to do with, as we age, I feel like we care less about a lot of things.
Yes.
And that's why you get like a lot of the older people that like say whatever they want, whatever. So I think that has a lot to do with it too, because I know once I got into my 30s, I started to feel that already. And I started to like love myself for who I was and like care less about what people thought of me and stuff. And then now I'm like freshly into my 40s. I'm like even more like, screw that. I'm going to do this. Like I'm reason, of course.
Yeah. My aunt was here visiting last week, and she was like just saying how 40s, she said 40s was the best time of her life. She's in her 70s now, her early 70s, but 40s apparently was the best, and that was part of the reason. It was just like the finding yourself kind of thing, and finally being like having the confidence to just do it, whatever it is. Plus you're established and have the money to do the things,
Pretty much.
But yeah, I would definitely agree. I would say in entering my 30s, I was feeling more like that. And then mid to late 30s, I've definitely been like, So I feel like I will be fully transitioned into the 40s.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that attitude.
Yep. So that could be definitely something that we tell our 5 year ago self.
Yes.
Even though it was just, 5 years, a lot can happen in 5 years, but it can also be a lot of, less caring about things and more caring about how you feel about yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like my whole wellness thing, we've talked about this. I think just in the last episode is, my diet now. And if I was going to tell Kristen 5 years ago, I'd be like, girl, you better be watching what you're eating a little more closely. Okay. You better be cutting down on that fast food. You better be cutting down on that Starbucks and the Dunkin' Donuts and everything. And because, I feel like honestly, probably the past 5 years, maybe even less than that, I've been gradually gaining weight. Obviously, it's not like a ton, but for me, where I was basically 100 pounds for most of my life, I was at 160. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely have told myself, look, as you get older, you're going to put on weight. That just is pretty much normal as you get older. Your metabolism is a little slower and you can gain weight faster and then lose it slower. So, and then we talked about this too, about like coming into menopause and stuff, and perimenopause, which is actually something I'm learning about and reading a book about because I am kind of clueless.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with like weight fluctuation and stuff. So that's definitely something I would tell myself. Like, you may think you can eat whatever you want and not exercise, but you work hard at it, you can do it, and give yourself, like you mentioned, give yourself some time and not just like, a specific goal. And it's working. I'm down to 150, but like you said, I have been fluctuating. So
Yeah.
I was up to 152 and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah. No, you can't think that way. I've gained 3 pounds in the past 3 days, which is like a physical impossibility.
Right?
It's like it happens. It'll go back down, and that's part of it too, Tell your former self, chill out about those numbers. They will
Yes,
go up and down.
definitely.
No.
So that was my wellness, my health and wellness.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that, we more or less are on the same journey, like health wise, kind of on the same timeline. It's funny how it ended up that way. Although I have a little bit more to lose, I think, than you do. Although I'm like really curious to know what you used to look like around 100 pounds. That seems so insanely small.
Yeah. Just like skinny, like, I feel like now at 41 years old and 150 pounds, I feel like I am comfortable with this weight though, because I feel like I filled out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I can fit clothes better. My legs, I used to think were like stick skinny. I used to not wear tank tops in high school because my arms were so skinny that people made fun of my arms. So it took me till I was I think I was in 10th or 11th grade before I wore an actual tank top because
Oh my
people made
gosh.
fun of how skinny I was.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah, and like just flat stomach, you can see like the top of my ribs, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
I wasn't unhealthy. I was eating everything in sight.
Yeah. Yeah. You're one of those fast metabolism people, huh?
Yes. But over the years, like my late 30s and 40s, I noticed like the slow weight gain.
Yeah.
So, and I'm plus being working from home with my own business for the past 5 years. It's a very sedentary job. So I'm literally sitting
Yeah, that's
most of the
true.
days.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure that has a lot to do with it.
Well, since you mentioned business, let's talk a little bit about the business and how that's changed in the past 5 years. Because 5 years ago, we were starting YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Just about a little over 5 years now, but almost, yeah. So what would you tell yourself back then, starting a YouTube channel 5 years ago? What would you have said?
Oh gosh. So I remember my first YouTube video, my jewelry sale video was in my apartment that we had before the house, and it was in my living room. And this actually proves that you can start YouTube with literally nothing, like no tools, no fancy cameras or lights or like tripods, whatever. I used my living room end table and I put my phone off the edge and I showed the jewelry on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
It was extremely uncomfortable because I had to like sit on the side of it. So like my legs and stuff weren't in frame and, like reach over. So it was just my hands. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So I would tell my 5 year ago self that it gets better.
Yeah.
Just keep going. That would be like my motto for Kristen 5 years ago. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Because now I'm, pretty good at what I do, I think. And I just started my own website that I built on my own. So someone that is not tech savvy, it is possible. So don't think you can't do it.
You're right. I was perusing that website. It's good. It's easy to navigate.
It's easy.
What else do you need?
That's what I wanted. I wanted easy. I wanted, simple, because I know a lot of my customers are of retirement age. And I know my mom has a hard time with technology. So.
Yeah.
Plus I do too.
Yeah, I was going to say I have hard time with technology.
So I'm like, and like, I don't want to pay somebody. I know websites can cost a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how can I do this like budget friendly and simple for me and the customer?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT actually helped me with that.
Oh, well, that's good.
I actually asked it. And this is another thing I would tell myself 5 years ago, my 5 years ago self, that I would be using AI as like a personal assistant to help me get through things that I don't know how to do.
I guess I gotta get more acquainted with it because I've used it a couple times or like tried to use it, but I just wasn't getting out of it what I was looking for. So I revert back to my old ways. But
Well, I was totally against it at first because I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't need this. This is stupid, whatever. And then I'm like, let me just try it. Let me ask it a question. And you have
Mhm.
to train it. You have to tell it, like what you do, like what you like, who you are, how you run a business, it has to learn you, and it
Mhm.
does. And that's what's freaking creepy.
Yeah.
But now, it talks to me like we're best friends. It's so weird. And
That's
it
adorable.
talks about Dallas and, like bringing him into the website saying like, hey, you should, when you list something new, you should put it on your Instagram and say, hey, this is Dallas's pick of the week. And like, like the item of the week. And I'm
Oh, that's
like,
cute.
dude, this is so weird.
Yeah, that is really bizarre.
But
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to dive into that yet, but but if it's a useful tool,
and
I
you
don't
can
know.
ask it what it needs from you to help it like serve you better type of thing. So
Yeah.
I've done that too. I asked like, what do you need from me to be able to help me more? And it
Yeah.
gave me like a rundown, like this is this, and this, asking me questions. I'm like, weird.
That is super weird. So you might tell yourself then to don't fear the technology, use it to your advantage.
Yes, because I told it about my idea with the website. I said, I don't want to spend a lot of money, if any at all. Are there free ones? Is that a thing?
Mhm.
How would like a commission type thing work or whatever? Kind of like PayPal, like takes a fee type of thing.
Mhm.
And I said I wanted it to be very like user friendly, all that stuff. And it gave me a list of the platforms that it suggested. And then I said, okay, but which one do you think, based on like how you know how I am, which one would you pick? So it told me which one, which is the one I'm using, my website. And then it gave me, and then it said, this is how I came up with that conclusion. And then it gave me all the platforms that it had suggested, and it compared them all side by side with like all the different things that it offers. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah. That's
like it
pretty
was
wild just
cool.
knowing how much time it would take to do that yourself and
Oh,
cross
forget it.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to like search Google and figure all that out on my own, forget it.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
that's like where it pulls it from. It pulls it from the internet. But
yeah,
I
doing all
can
the
ask
legwork.
it. Yeah, I can ask it a question, and it will find it for me and tell me how to do it like step by step, instead of me having to figure it all out and take the time or whatever. So yeah.
Sorry. My throat's so dry.
Okay. So yeah, definitely I would tell myself, keep going,
Mhm.
and it's okay to rely on some technology here and there. It will help you.
Yeah. You might be like me too, just in the I have a problem asking for help from other people in
Yeah.
general. So like
Mhm.
to do that, I don't know, it just feels like a cheat code almost in a bad way, but like I know I don't
Yeah.
know, it's technology. What are you gonna do? Our grandparents were not into the technology that was coming out when we were younger too. I remember mine were not
Yep.
crazy about the computer initially and all that. So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know.
definitely going to be that old person that is just not, trying to not give in.
Yeah.
That's much as possible.
Hold on to your old ways. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and the whole personal shopping thing too. So I don't know if anyone pays attention to my Instagram page, but I kind of fell into like a personal shopping gig.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with these like beaded purses, like these beaded bags that took TikTok by storm. I do not have TikTok, by the way. It made its way over to Instagram. So I found it on Instagram, and people were finding all these really cool beaded bags, all these different styles with all these different like themes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can find some. Like that would be kind of fun, you know? And I recorded, you know, the video. I made a little vlog, reel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally took off. Like, and I make them every week now because every week I go out thrifting. I go to the TJ Maxx and Marshalls that are right around the area.
Mm-hmm.
And people are buying these from me. Like, so I asked just $20, you know, as like a finder's fee to cover my gas and whatever else.
Right.
And it's literally like another source of income for me.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like fell into it. But I know when I was younger, I loved the idea of being a personal shopper. I thought that was like so cool.
Really?
People pay you to like shop for them, not necessarily for beaded bags, like, but for like their personal closet. You know, they want to, let's say they have an event coming up, or they want like a wardrobe redo, you know, like, oh, like I don't know what fits me right or what styles are in. Like I was always into that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy how I'm kind of doing that a little bit.
Yeah, you're dabbling for sure. Yeah.
Dabbling, yeah. So I definitely tell myself 5 years ago, even though this was probably like 25 years ago, but it's something that I'd be like, hey, keep that idea because you're going to be dabbling in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, something that people want, a curated closet from someone who they trust, you know.
Yep.
Because I'm sure you're getting purchases from people that have already purchased from you.
Yes.
And possibly maybe making more sales because of it. So like, well, I'm already getting this purse. Maybe I'll pick up something else while I'm buying from her or getting things shipped.
Yep.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I did, by the way, the other day run into my local TJ Maxx to see if I could find those bags because I really want a fruit one, like a lemon or lime or any of the fruits really, and nothing. They have none of it.
Oh no.
So that was a bust. But anyhow, I found a waffle.
Oh, I saw that one today.
Like a Mickey waffle or something. I was like, this is not a fruit, and I don't want it, but I guess it's cute. I don't know.
I did see that one today. That's so funny.
Oh man, yeah, it's not as cute as the beaded bags. But well, I guess for myself, as far as business goes, I don't know what I would tell myself because for all the things that I've dabbled in on my channel, they kind of like steered me into a direction. I guess I would maybe tell myself to stop trying to do so much like on one platform because I have so many hobbies. Like it's an insane amount of hobbies that I have. And since I devoted so much of the beginning of the channel to jewelry, I really confused my audience when I started putting like arts and crafts and all this stuff into the mix. So it worked out with stones a bit because stones and jewelry kind of, in my eyes, kind of go hand in hand because stones are in jewelry. But once I started doing all the other stuff, I think it just kind of derailed my efforts. So I would tell myself to like pick one thing and stick with it. And then if I could go back and do what I'm doing now back then, I wish I had done that, which is trying to split these things off. And I have started a new channel, which is Woodlands and Whimsies, or Woodlands and Whimsy. Yeah. Which is just crafts. That's like my arts and crafts channel. There's like 25 subscribers or something. It's a baby channel. But I wish I had done that years ago because then I could have been building that channel up at the same time I was building up my jewelry channel.
Yep.
And I'm really regretting not like streamlining my efforts earlier because now it's even harder to do because I'm trying to juggle channels and hobbies with an infant, and it's very difficult to do. And so I don't know, I guess I wish I would have kind of figured that out earlier, but I am doing that now. But you know, so there's some advice for anyone out there that's trying to do a channel. Is they always say niche down. Well, it's kind of true.
Yeah, I didn't want to believe that either. Like when I was doing jewelry, purses, you know, the hard goods, I was doing like home decor. I had my antique booths and stuff, even though that doesn't really relate to YouTube, but I was doing like live variety sales.
Yeah.
And when I started going to this community of women business owners called Her Nation a little over a year ago, I kept being told that I have to niche down and just pick one thing to talk about, like when I'm talking about it to somebody. Because like we learned what an elevator pitch is. Basically, like you have to be able to tell somebody who you are, what you do, and who you help in 30 seconds or under. Because that's like if you're in an elevator with somebody and they just meet you and they're like, hey, what do you do? And you got to like, you know, give them a quick spiel. So I was taught to only tell them one thing that you do, like your main thing. And then once they find you and go to your YouTube or, you know, your website, whatever, then they can see like the other things that you do. So like that's like what I was taught. And on YouTube, it may not be that great of a thing because like you said, it confuses viewers, but it's kind of like you want to pick one focus and then the others can kind of be by the wayside. Because I think if you, like you said, if you're doing too much, something is going to, or too many things, something or one of them is going to kind of lack. So
yeah,
I guess to try to maybe schedule things so you have like equal amount of time for each thing. Because if you're just kind of picking and choosing, something's going to get left behind, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm experiencing that right now across the three different channels.
And you don't want that to happen, you know, because you like what you do, you enjoy it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I consider, you know, YouTube, making these videos and everything as yet another hobby, like up there with, you know, my crochet or painting or any of those other things. YouTube is up there too. Video making is a hobby. So yeah, that sometimes that hobby suffers when you try to spread it too thin across stuff. That's because I haven't, like on my main channel, I haven't posted anything in like 2 or 3 weeks now, and that's a problem. YouTube does not like that if you don't stay consistent.
But it's okay to have like like I said, the different things, the different like aspects, like I do too, like jewelry, purses. But even for me, like I feel like when I'm sourcing for purses, I'm forgetting about the jewelry. And then a week will go by and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't buy any jewelry. Like so it's hard. You have to like schedule it, and I'm starting to like put it in like my planner, like this day go on shopgoodwill.com, you know, this day check out here, you know, and because otherwise you can forget.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I did like, and not that it's really the same, but I went to the craft store the other day and I was so hyper focused on making some jewelry because I opened, that's something else I did. I don't even know if you can call it opening a thing, but I set up a booth space in my husband's shop. He has a mechanic shop, but it has this very large waiting room and people are there all the time. And I was like, can I just set up like a bookshelf in that space and just sell things off the bookshelf? He's like, I don't care. Like, all right. So I've done that, and I was making some jewelry specifically for that bookcase. I needed some supplies, and if you guys know me at all, you know that I'm a crochet nut and I love crocheting, and I skipped the yarn section entirely. And like, it is a effort for me to get to the craft store because I live out in the country. It's like 30 minutes to the craft store. And I forgot to look at the yarn. And it was like, I was back in my car and I was like, I didn't even look at the yarn. I was like, oh, well, I was on a time crunch. So I was like, I guess I'll just do it next time. But, you know, it was like, I don't know. My brain wasn't there. It's like what you say, you're hyper focused on like the purses. So you go in and like completely forget to check the jewelry counter or,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not on your mind at that point in time. So,
Yep.
so the same with channel. You get so high, like right now I'm hyper focused on making a crochet pattern. And so my jewelry channel has like suffered because that's not on my mind right now. But my problem is I have way too much on my mind at all times. And I need to plan out some time. Yeah. So if you like, there's some advice to myself. Be more organized in your scheduling. That's
Yeah.
for myself right now going forward.
Yeah. Same. I'll take that advice too.
Yeah. It's not easy to do.
Nope.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, so I would say, so other than that, like, narrowing down your niche on your channel, um, being more, I guess, creative, I suppose, in money making efforts, focusing more on passive income. That's something I'm trying to do more of now. So if you are coming over here from the Laura Etc. channel, which is like the jewelry focused one, or if you've been following for a long time, which a lot of the people that do follow us on Souls and Bloom are long-term customers and viewers, you'll notice that I sell way less than I used to, if at all. I mean, I guess I did do a sales video the other week, but I'm trying to get more into just ad revenue things or like passive income. So like I'm making a crochet pattern right now and I'm giving that a try just to have that on the internet so someone can download it. And I just get paid when someone downloads the thing. I don't have to like continuously make something every time I want to sell it.
Yep.
It's like, here it is. And like, it could be downloaded 1,000 times and you don't have to do anything additional. So
yep.
That's where my focus is now. And also kind of trying to turn my channel more into information based. And so doing like research for people, like for example, I had a recent video that was where to sell unwanted jewelry. And so compiling that information so that the viewer can digest it instead of like just selling things, because I just don't have, it's my lifestyle right now is not conducive to going out sourcing items or sourcing items online, unpacking those items, looking through them and figuring it out. I do have a box literally a foot away from me right now from Blue Box, Goodwill Blue Box, to open. But as before, it was like, let's see what's in this box and sell it as I go. Now my mind is more of like, how do I make this informational? Like, oh, let's turn this into like a more informative video of like, what kind of things can you get in a Goodwill Blue Box versus,
but you know what? That is really good because that's something I learned that YouTube loves is what it's called as evergreen content.
Right. Yeah.
Something that somebody can watch now in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now, and it will be like the same value. You know?
Yep.
So like with my stuff, I'm doing literal sales. So once the sale is over, it's done because those items are sold. Do people know what's left? Who knows? So that's really good because people can come back to that information, or it can be watched in 5 years from now if someone types in the Google, the YouTube search. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's exactly. Evergreen content is really good.
Yeah, that is. I'm trying to make more of that just because, like I said, it's just more of a scheduling thing, but also I want like to bring some sort of value to the customers that's not in a physical item, because it's just not, I can't do that right now. It's just too much for me. Every once in a while a sale is fine, but like a consistent weekly sale or every other week sale is just not working with my lifestyle right now. So I'm trying to organize around that. Yep. But if I had started these videos 5 years ago, like you said, they keep getting those hits and you can get money from those videos. Like, I don't get paid a ton for my monetization. Like it's very much just like pocket change on the side, especially now that my Temu video was like my heavy hitter. I was getting like $300 to $400 a month off of that one video.
Nice.
Yeah, but not anymore. Now it's like under 150. It might even be under 100 at this point in time. But if I keep making that content or making content similar to it, and the other thing too is with evergreen content, you never know when that video is going to shoot back up again. Because that first Temu video, that did earn me some cash. was dead for months, and then all of a sudden it picked up out of nowhere. It was like Temu suddenly became popular, so or something, or was mentioned somewhere popular or something, and people started looking into it, and that just like drove that video up. But it had very little views for months until it suddenly took off out of nowhere. And so that's the thing that can happen with these videos, is you can put them out there and then they'll pay off for you months down the road when it's like not even on your radar anymore, and all of a sudden you're getting paid for it. So that's kind of cool too.
Yep.
But but you don't get the upfront hit. You don't get paid the same way like you do with the sales. It's not an immediate return on anything. So it's just there's different ways to make money on YouTube. This is just something I'm migrating towards, just for the reasons I said already.
Yes.
But anywho, so yeah, I would try to guide myself into that direction earlier. Like try to do more informational stuff earlier. Put yourself in that mindset earlier, versus trying to just do it all of a sudden. But
right.
So yeah, so that's pretty much most of my business stuff, and then also the new crochet channel or hobby channel, arts and crafts that I'm starting, which I also want to try to make that more informational as far as like how to get crafting items and like how to make certain things. I'm going to be putting tutorials on there of how I make specific items for people, because I want to be informative.
Tutorials.
And so yeah,
definitely.
Yep. So we'll see how that turns out. It's like, I don't know, intimidating, I guess, just starting over, because essentially I am on that channel starting from scratch, but we'll see what happens. Anywho, so that's my business in a nutshell. Laura, get your head together. Stop bouncing all around, because good grief. Okay, I probably give people whiplash on my channel. I feel bad.
But see,
I've been there from the beginning.
These are all learning experiences that we're learning over time, and this is just a mirror talk, So nothing is wrong with anything. We've just learned things.
Yes, that's true. And as my husband always says, if you're happy where you are now, like it doesn't even really matter. Like the past is irrelevant, and how you screwed up then, like doesn't matter. It was important. It was important to screw up then. Yeah. What does he say? You have to play the fool first, or something like that. I don't know. Something along those lines.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to play. I think that's what it was. You have to play the fool first before you can be a master at anything. You have to play the fool.
Oh, that makes sense.
All right. Family and friends.
Family, friends, personal, anything personal life related. So the first thing that came up for me for this category, now obviously there are exceptions to the rules, because I know your husband does this, sort of, yes, and my husband does as well.
What's that?
and my mom's boss. I learned that you don't mix family and business. So
yeah, that's a good one.
So for a short period of time, I had my sister helping me in my business, and we won't go into details, but it was for about a year, and it just wasn't working out. And it's my sister, my only sister, like my little sister. Like, how do I fire her? You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, do I do that? She's my sister. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? So am I going to ruin our sistership, or however you want to call it? So, long story short, she no longer works for me, and everything is fine, but it was very difficult. That time was very difficult. I do not recommend it to anybody.
Can I just insert really quick? Can we throw friends into this mix too? Don't mix business with friends either. Yes. Family or friends that you want to keep long term. Okay.
Right. Right. Yes. So with that being said, Kyle has worked with friends, and it has worked out. So I guess it kind of depends on the persons. But then there are times where he was a boss and had to fire friends, but in his in his eyes, he can separate, the friend from the employee. And when you're working, when, him and his friend were working, they are employee and boss, not friends. So he would be able to separate that and not be upset over it. Not saying that friend wouldn't be upset, because they were, but it's different for everybody. But to me, I would keep it separate, because then you don't have to be in any type of situation like that. And I know I mentioned my mom's boss, his company is basically all friends and family. Like, that is, everyone that works for him is either his friend or a family member. And he has constant problems with the guys, like the staff, the workers. It's a garage door company. So like they're not mechanics, operators, repairmen, something like that.
Installers? I don't know.
Installers, yeah. Always having problems with them. Always, they don't respect him. They don't listen to him, because they're all friends. So they're like, oh, you're not being serious, like, oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, I can come in late. Oh, it's fine, and he's like ripping his hair out on the other end, So that would be something I would say to myself 5 years ago, is even if your sister needs financial help and you need help in your business, don't do it. Politely decline.
Yes. That's good. We had an issue with that, which I didn't say on here, but I did tell you that my husband had a friend work for him, and they don't talk anymore after he was let go from the position. And it was the same kind of thing where Troy, my husband, he could separate work from business, but his friend took it very personally when he was let go, and they haven't talked since. So, it is what it is.
It has a lot to do with being able to separate it, but it's kind of hard when, like in my mom's boss's situation, where they don't respect him at all and they don't listen to him. They think it's a joke, and yet he needs them, and he doesn't want to fire them. So it's like, but do you fire them and just get somebody else and save yourself future headaches? It's like, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, that is. But, if you don't put yourself in that spot in the first place.
Exactly.
Problem.
So that would be my tip for me 5 years ago. Don't mix business and friends or family.
That's a good idea. I would say one of my biggest things that I've done, and I know I talk about my family a lot, but putting myself out there to meet new people. It's like the older you get, I feel like the harder it becomes to meet new people and establish these like connections and things that.
Yep.
But I would say to myself, 5 years ago, like, just do it, and like, don't worry about it, because I had been burned in the past by meeting friends. I was essentially trying to meet other moms so that my kids could have friends, or kid at the time could have a friend.
Yeah.
And got burned ultimately at the end of it. So I was so reluctant to try again, but it's important for the kids, to have some connections made.
Yep.
And so I was apprehensive on behalf of my kids, but also trying to protect myself. So I would have told myself, like, just get out there and do it. And so since I have taken a chance on meeting some people, I've met some weirdos that I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your message, or the other 5 messages you sent me. But I've met some really cool moms, and like, one especially that I've known for a while. We're really close now, and she's like my best friend down here, and our kids get along pretty well. And then I more recently met another mom that was pretty cool. So there's connections to be made, and just because you get burnt in the past doesn't mean that you're always going to get burned. So that'd be my advice to myself, is to do that. And then also relying on people more, like we were talking about earlier, about it's hard to ask for help. That's something that I would tell my past self, but also something I'm trying to still work on now is like asking for help when I need it. And
Yeah.
not just from family, but from these friends, from this network of people, because really soon I'm going to be in a position where that's all I have, because my family is that's around us is moving out of the areas
Oh,
very
yeah.
soon. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to learn to kind of lean on the network that I've created down here. Oh my gosh, this dog. She just like bounded down the stairs straight at me.
Aw.
Anywho, so yeah, that would be something I would try to encourage myself to do, is like just rely on people a little more. And they like to help. Like I'm the same way. Like I would want to be called upon. I was really butthurt recently. Well, okay, it wasn't that recent. It was like a couple of years back, but my sister and brother-in-law, they are involved in a church that's like up near their neck of the woods, and we're like close to them though. We're closer to them than they are to their church, like distance wise. She was having an emergency health situation, and she called the church members before she called us to come help her out. And I was so like hurt by that. I'm still hurt by
Yeah.
that. Like, what
Aw.
did we do? Like, I thought we were close. I still don't know why she didn't ask us to help her. Just like she needed help with the kids. Well, she went to the emergency room. Like, oh my gosh, of course I'll help you out. But I don't know. It was a little offensive. So, but all that to say, like, sometimes maybe family isn't the best to rely on anyway. So you gotta, sometimes your friends are your family, or as good
Yeah.
as or better than your family can be to you sometimes. So,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Anywho, and then as far as, I don't know, just in general, I would say like a big takeaway that I've learned in the latter half of my 30s, other than, caring less about what people think, although this does kind of go along with it. I would tell myself to stop letting your insecurities drive your decisions. And this is specifically true for vacationing and beaches.
Okay.
I don't want to be seen in a bathing suit. So I was like so reluctant to like take my kids to go do swimming activities because of my own insecurities. And like nobody cares. I know that now, but 4 or 5 years ago would be like, why don't you take them, honey? But now it's like, who cares? No one cares what you look like anyway. Everyone's always too worried about themselves. So like I now try to just embrace it, throw on the swimsuit, go have the fun, because who
Mm-hmm.
cares?
Exactly.
It doesn't even matter. And years from now, you're going to remember the fun you had at the beach and not you're being insecure. When your
Yep.
kids are certain, they don't care at all either. That's the other thing. Like your kids aren't going to be thinking like, Mom looks real fat in that bathing suit. Like that's not even on their mind, especially, the
Nope.
younger they are, the less they give a crap. So you might as well go and have fun. Your spouse clearly is with you for a reason and don't care either. So like just get over yourself. Go have the fun. Stop being insecure and like go just do the thing and have a good time, and put that to the back of your mind.
Love that.
There you
Ditto.
go. Yeah.
Ditto. Mic drop.
Yep. Sorry. That really is my last note too. So
I love it. I don't got anything else either.
all right, done. It's over. Thank you guys for being here.
That was good.
Say, so this, I mean, we're almost at an hour, so we might as well cut it off here. That was an enjoyable conversation. I think, it really, like, once I started writing things down, I was like, damn, this is kind of nice to just reflect, because I don't really do that ever.
Yeah.
I'm so concerned about like what's coming next, or like worrying about the future, that like I don't sit and give myself enough credit for what I've been through recently. And like, it really, so much has changed in the past 5 years.
The thing that kind of triggered this topic was a conversation I had with Kyle, and he was having a hard time with work because things weren't going the way he wanted. He thought he was not really like failing, but like in his own head,
Mm-hmm.
And I had to stop him, and I had to be like, look at where you came from. Like, look at the fact that you started this job as a mechanic and now you like a mechanic of ambulances, so like a fleet of ambulances. Now you are the director of 3 shops that you run the fleet of mechanics at 3 different shops.
Yeah.
You know, like this is how I came up with it, like thinking back on where you were and where you are now.
Yeah.
And that kind of made him feel a little bit better and think a little differently and stuff like that. So it does, sometimes you need to take that moment and just be like, you know, even if you went through hardships, you got through them. You know,
Mhm.
you are on the other end.
Yeah. Or if
So,
you're going through one now, like reflect on the fact that you've been through hard things before and you will get through it again. Because a lot of times when you're in the midst of it, it doesn't feel that way. But
yeah.
yeah, your past self has already proven that it's doable and you'll be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. And just Kyle and like Kristen and I talk about our husbands behind the scenes a lot. And man, they are so freaking similar. It's ridiculous
Yep.
sometimes. And we were talking recently too about his success in his shop. And he was saying that, you know, it's funny because like when we opened the shop, which was now 6 years ago, so we didn't quite make the 5-year deadline for this conversation, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I just had our 3rd kid. We had taken out a loan against the house to open this business. It was like an intense time, and we were so concerned about, is it going to be successful? Are we about to like lose a ton of money and be screwed?
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite problem. He gets stressed out because he's slammed with work, basically. He gets really busy, or like a customer's upset or something. But he was like, you know, these things get to him. And he was saying when he stops and thinks about Troy 6 years ago, like, man, we were just at that point in time concerned, is there going to be any business coming to this new facility?
Mm-hmm.
And then that gives him this like renewed perspective, like, okay, I can deal with the upset customer and
Yep.
like the busy schedule, because like this is what people strive for. This is what I was concerned would never happen. And here I am in the midst of it and like being, you know, flustered by it. But like Troy 6 years ago would have been like, dude, this is awesome. Chill.
Yeah.
You know?
Bring it on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just funny that, you know, they have similar, you know, reflections and mentalities in there. Yeah. But anywho. All right. Well, there you go.
All right.
We're cutting it off.
That's
Thank
it.
you guys for joining us on this episode. We appreciate y'all being here and listening to Chris and I rant for a bit. And we hope to see you on the next one in 2 weeks. And as always, leave a comment below. Let us know what you've accomplished in the past 5 years or what you would tell yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a topic for a future show you'd like to see us discuss, let us know that too.
Yep.
But for now, we're signing off. And yeah, we'll be back here in 2 weeks with a new one, and we hope to see you all then. And yeah, that's it. Bye, everybody.